Hey there, Brian Roisentul here. I'm the host of the Fit Growth Machine podcast, and today we have another great episode because we are going to talk about customer-centric data, sustainability, and the changing landscape of marketing. Why not? But before doing that, let me tell you that this episode is brought to you by BSR Digital. At BSR Digital, we help e-commerce brands that want to scale their business to the next level through Facebook, Instagram, and Google Ads. BSR Digital knows that most e-commerce brands want to grow their sales, but they lack a solid plan and professional team to help them succeed. That's why BSR Digital offers strategic plans, implementation, optimization, and account audits to help more than 1,000 e-commerce brands like yours grow their business and surpass their competitors. To learn more, you can visit us at bsrdigital.com, and you can also sorry, you can visit us at that website and email us at hello@bsrdigital.com. So today, what I said before, we have a great guest, great conversation. I have Alex Miller. He's a digital growth strategist with a specialty in e-commerce and currently the head of e-commerce and digital strategy at Baabuk, a Swiss footwear brand. Hey, Alex, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So why don't you start by telling the audience more about your story?
Sure. Like a lot of people that kind of work in the small business entrepreneurial space, my story starts more years ago than I would like to admit. But I've always been around the entrepreneurship, small business side of things. In university, I spent most of my weekends and free time starting various businesses and uh, industries that don't seem to make a lot of sense. Everything from machinery to cigars and everything in between. So I really got a taste of kind of a wide array of different topics and industries there. When I got out of university, I decided it was time to get a real job, and went and started working at a tech startup in Washington D.C. And I was employee number 10 there, and it was a very content strategy focused company. And that gave me so much knowledge and insights into the world of SEO, content marketing, growth strategy. By the time I left, I think that company had tripled in size. So I got to see those early stage growth, when everything's bootstrapped, lean startup, all of those, kind of great early on stages of a business. And since that time, I've just been, I spent a little time in the agency space, and then went from there to start working directly with some small brands that were looking for kind of rapid digital growth. And that's how I found my way to Baabuk. Started working with them about between 4 or 5 years ago now. And it's been an amazing ride getting to see, again, another small, very dedicated team kind of figure out this changing world of digital landscapes and, making our wool dominance where we can.
That's awesome. And it's pretty interesting what you guys at Baabuk do. And we are going to touch base on that in a sec. But we discuss pretty often about this on the podcast. Really, the customers are smarter than ever. And they don't buy just from brands. They don't want the like products. They want to buy experiences. They want to buy from brands that stand for something that I don't know. Many there could be many angles, right? In this case, it could be sustainability, right? So I just wanted to ask you at Baabuk, why do you think that it is important to have a sustainable e-commerce? And yeah, why do you guys do it, and why do you think it's important and relevant today for the customer?
Yeah, so we do it for very genuine reasons. Everyone who's in the Baabuk company really does believe in the vision and the values that we profess on a daily basis with the products and methods in which we produce. So for us, it's a very legitimate purpose in trying to use business for good. We're very proud to be B Corp certified, and part of the vision of B Corp and the requirement of B Corp is using business as a force for good, not just focusing on profit, but really focusing on the growth and prosperity of the communities you work with, the people you work with, your customers, for us, the animals we work with. For us, it's a very valid and legitimate thing. Consumers too, and there have been a lot of marketing tactics that have been used around greenwashing, and now more than ever it is explosive because consumers are demanding that customers do things, again, that don't just focus on profit, but do positively impact the processes in which they work. And so, dollars speak. And when a consumer wants certain actions, there's two ways to do it. There's the greenwashing way, which a lot of companies are guilty of, creating these fake policies to kind of trick the consumer. And then there's the legitimate way, which we try to do. We're in no way perfect. We try to be transparent about that. But trying to take steps to do things the right way. And consumers are incredibly intelligent and growing more and more. Catching on to more and more of these marketing tricks each and every day. So for us, being sustainable, responsible, it's not just the flavor of the week that we're doing. It's both good for the way we want to act as individuals within the company, but it also allows us to interact with customers in a way that they want. It helps us get an edge on some larger companies that can only do it through greenwashing, and customers see through that.
Yeah, exactly. So you said that you connect with customers. How are you guys different? How do you get that personal connection with them? How do you involve them in your story?
Yeah, so we're a smaller brand, which means that our customers are everything. Like we need to have that personal connection with customers because that's our core strength. So we do it in a lot of different ways. We try to be, one of our core company values is authenticity, and we try to do that in being very transparent and also being real people. We want every single one of our customers to be able to see who we are as people, recognize who we are. You can go on our website, see all of our faces. We're not just names behind an email address or anything like that. And we do try to connect and understand what customers want from us. So we rely very heavily on surveys. I'm a little bit of a data guy, so I love getting a big batch of survey data and being able to analyze it and look through and see what's working and what's not. And we do this in so many different ways, whether it's like, how is the delivery of the product, where we can just figure out that one small piece of our process. How did that go? Is there something we can improve on that? When we launch a new product, sometimes we'll do a survey to understand why people didn't purchase that. What are the things that we can improve to make a better offering to those customers? And then just that authenticity and that realness. So we have the Facebook community of just our customers. You have to be a Baabuk customer to join that community where we can interact with you directly. End of year, we send out handwritten postcards to our top customers that year. And then locally in Switzerland, in pre-COVID days, we used to do more focus groups. We haven't restarted that too much yet, but hopefully near in the horizon. And then also even simple things like if we're working on a new product, we'll have people just local to the office test it out to make sure the sizing's right. So it's interacting directly with people as much as we can, rather than some big consulting firm is going to tell us that this is what our customers want. We would rather speak directly to them.
Yeah, and it's that, it's been long, a long time since this started to happen, but the communication between a brand and their customers, it's probably a two-way street, right? And if you don't create the space for that to happen, then it all falls into pieces, or at least you're missing out on a lot of things, because
Mhm.
who bought from you once might buy or are likely to buy many, many times if you take care of them. In a recent interview, we were talking about, Alex Hormozzi's book. It's like someone who buys something from you, whatever that is, they do something before and after they buy from you, and you can be helping them with that as well,
Mhm.
right? It's not that they buy, in this case, shoes and that's all they can do. They want something. Probably they want a piece of content from you. Probably they want a tutorial. Probably they want, I don't know, support. Probably they want you to hold them accountable, or to give them whatever to hold them accountable, or etc. So it's an experience. That's so do you guys, what do you, I know that many small and corporation, many small brands and many corporations use focus groups, use Facebook groups, but how do you leverage them in a different way? Uh, what do you do differently, let's say there?
Mhm. Yeah, so a lot of it comes to asking the right questions in the right environment, right? I mean, there's a lot of kind of pre-developed surveys out there that you can just plug in and send to your customers, and it'll give you a net promoter score, which is great for, getting a very baseline understanding of where your customers are at. But that only goes so far. We don't just want to know, why did you purchase this? Where did you find this? When are you going to purchase again? Don't get me wrong, that data is great. We need that data, but we want more in depth. One of the most recent examples we have is on our delivery survey. There was a shocking amount of people who were requesting carbon offset options at shipping, to carbon offset their shipping as a responsible, sustainable company. It wasn't something we were offering at the time. Our logistics provider made it kind of difficult to implement that. And to be honest, there's, again, with the greenwashing, there's a lot of challenges with carbon offsetting. It's not a perfect science in a lot of ways. But we saw that a lot of customers want that. That's not something we can profit from. That's not something, at least if done right, that's not something we profit from. But there was this overwhelming response for it. So it's something that we took time to look into, to find solutions to make it work. We implemented it, and now we have around a 30% adoption rate of customers who are offsetting their shipments, trying to do a carbon neutral offset. Again, we don't profit at all from it. It's going to those offset things, but so it's things like that. It's not just what color do you want, when are you going to purchase from us again, but it's how can we make this experience more aligned with what you're looking for as a customer.
That's great, because I think that we all feel that way, or most of us, when we fill out a survey for a company, even more if they are like a huge company, if you don't know if you will be heard, right? And it's great when that happens, because it makes you want to actually express more and more and more. It's like, okay, they heard me once. I want to tell them everything about it, right? So that's awesome, and it creates a huge feeling. And that's what I was talking about when I asked, what did you do different? And
Mhm.
that's great.
Yeah, it's, and it has to be genuine. If you're going to do it right, it has to be genuine. It has to be that, not just that you kind of trick them into feeling like they, are contributing, but in another example we did, every member of our team at one point was required to do Zoom calls with various customers. Customers could sign up for a Zoom call, and the entire intent of it, we called it a Be a Baabuk Designer. And the entire intent was just to speak one-on-one with customers and figure out what was their perfect idea of a design. We have designers on our team, we work with outside designers, we have all of these ideas based on trends and what other companies are doing, what we think works for what kind of styles we want to create. And that's great, unless it's not what our customers want. So it was a really fascinating month where, myself, our co-founders, our finance director, everybody in the company did multiple Zoom calls with customers. And it was a few years ago, and we're still talking about those interactions that we had. And those directly impacted some of the designs and concepts that we put together. So things like that, where it's the contribution is real, and the customers can feel that contribution is real and feel a part of the brand, which is it's a nice feeling to feel that contribution, to be part of something, and to be able to talk more highly about the product that you're wearing and loving because you really were a part of it.
Yeah, yeah, and you're actually present in multiple countries, right?
That's
What are
correct. Yeah.
some of the Yeah, so what are some of the challenges that you see of going international with regards like the community? I mean, we assume that by now we all know that probably n- every culture is different, right? And there are discrepancies. So how do you keep balance of that? What I don't know, what customers in the US want, what customers in other countries want. Uh, how do you handle that?
I'll let you know when I figure it out because it's so challenging. It actually is as a marketer, it's one of the biggest challenges that I have on a regular basis when we're dealing with campaigns and communication. I'm here in the States, and I don't speak French or German, which a lot of our customers speak, especially in Switzerland. It's half is French and pretty much half is German. And we also do a lot of work in Germany and France and Netherlands and all of these other countries. And so what we've realized is that just translating our content doesn't work, which I guess that's to be expected. You know, all cultures have different things that they care about, different ways of communicating, different priorities of products and goals. So it's something that it's still top of our list on how to do that, even again, just in Switzerland, which is our home market, where we sell the most, where most of our customers are. There is such a difference in types of communication. So it really impacts the way that we communicate. But to your point, it also really impacts the way the customers communicate with us. And like when we run ad sets, or at least pre-iOS 14, when we would run ad sets with really good data, it was pretty shocking the type of interest groups that would perform really well in the US, for example, that would not perform in Germany or would not perform in Switzerland, because that audience set is, even though Facebook saying there's similar interest level, all of this, it's such a different consumer base. It's cultures are incredibly complex, and even just a similarity of interest does not make that consumer similar.
Yeah, exactly. So talking about traffic and sales now, what do you guys do there? What channels do you leverage? Yeah, feel free to talk about it.
Yeah, so again, pre-iOS 14, Facebook was big for us. Now that we're in post-iOS 14 and in kind of the removal of third-party cookies, it's a bit of the wild, wild west out here, trying to figure out where we're going to go and what we do. But so we rely heavily on affiliate marketing. It's a great channel for us. It allows us to connect with a wide variety of types of content creators and programs and partners. So that's been a great channel for us. We still, of course, do some advertising on social, Google Ads, all of that, all of the standard platforms. But what's been really helpful for us, kind of back to the earlier conversation, is using our customer base as a marketing channel for us. When we look at the delivery surveys that we have, where we're asking customers how they heard about us, one of the top response that we have is they heard about us from a friend or family. So that referral network is very large, and I forget the exact quote, but there's something like referral is the best gift you can give to a company. And it really is true, because we can say all we want about how great our products are and what we do and the benefits and all that. But for somebody unaffiliated with us to be able to promote that product to people that they care about, it really validates a lot of the work that we're trying to do.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And your existing, it is said, that, as you said, your existing customers are your best next customers as well.
Yep.
So that's awesome. They leverage that. And affiliate, yeah, it's a great way. There's a crazy world right now in the advertising space, in the commerce space as well. We've been talking about that recently on the podcast as well. It didn't, I mean, the craziness didn't end with COVID, then the supply chain issues, then inflation and many other crazy things. The demand, I mean, the market expanded a lot through COVID, and now it's probably the opposite, because people are out there, getting back their life, and,
Yeah.
and experiencing new things. Probably they're not mine, and probably right now they're saving a lot of money as well. So it's another challenging time. So you need to leverage. If you're listening, of course, if you have a customer base, you need to leverage your customer base, not only for them to buy again, but if they love your products, they will naturally refer. Yeah, I mean, recommend your brand as well. I mean, paid ads, I don't believe at all it's dead, but I'm with you that it's way more challenging than before, and probably something that we will all need to do is to get more zero party data. And for those listening that don't know what I'm talking about, which could be a lot of people because it's not something that is discussed very often. Zero party data is the data that they willingly, I mean, they, like your customers or website visitors, willingly uh, give you, right? Through a quiz or through whatever, right? You do surveys, for example, right? But in the same funnel I'm talking about. So getting that data or targeting a broader audience with the ads and applying a filter layer, to get the audience that you want. Those are probably things that are going to start, uh, you know, um, being more popular uh, because things are getting more challenging. And this is Facebook, but then Google is going to apply the same thing. The cookieless world is coming as well. So yeah,
Yeah, it's and I the term exciting isn't usually put around this challenging time, but I do find it actually very exciting because for the first time, really in the history of at least our company, the playing field is much more level with big competitors. Our largest competitor, which I don't want to give them a shout out, I'll just say they're a billion-dollar unicorn that's gone public this year that specializes in wool shoes. I'm sure a lot of people may know who I'm talking about, but you know, just based on who they are and the capital they have to be able to advertise in pre-iOS 14 and third-party cookie times, they had access to data and tools and processes that we just didn't. We couldn't, can't afford to implement those. And they have a larger customer database than us, but we're finally in a little bit more of a level playing field where we have to rely on our own data, our own customers, our own tools in order to make things work. So for us, it's super exciting because they're still going to be big and flashy and doing what they can, with the platform they have, but we get to play a pretty similar game in a lot of ways now that privacy laws are in place, and it's going to keep getting more and more restrictive, and you have to rely so heavily now on authenticity, which is one of the, again, like I mentioned, one of the core values that Baabuk's built on.
yeah, 100%. What about retention marketing? I know we are talking about the acquisition side of things, but I guess that engaging with previous or existing customers and trying to recover some lost, sales through, I don't know, some email automation, SMS. It's really
Mhm.
important as well. Are you guys doing anything there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we have a relatively strong email marketing program with automations in place to re-engage our current customer base. SMS in the US is very strong for us. We try to build that again, more of a communication community where, of course, we're going to push out sales, we're going to push out promotions, we're going to push out products. But it's also a place like if you don't know your sizing, you can communicate directly with us on that. While we were in a call here, I literally got a text come in that I'm going to have to respond to after this interview. But people will text, and it goes directly to one of us, and we'll respond and give feedback and try to help you along that path. So again, it's that direct communication that we have in place. So yeah, we try to do as much as we can to interact with our current base. On the other hand, it's a bit of a challenging position. In a good way, but to be a sustainably focused brand, because consumerism is a massive challenge that we try to combat, which seems kind of paradoxical with being a brand that's selling products and also trying to, in some ways battle consumerism. We don't want our current customers to buy 20 pairs of shoes and wear 3 of them, right? I mean, our shoes are built specifically to last long. We use materials that are more durable, so you don't need to replace it every 6 months. And it's not good for us, for our overall goals as a B Corp company if you need to replace that pair every 3 months or 6 months, or we release a new color so you need one in each size. We don't want that. So again, it's a bit of a challenge that engaging with customers isn't always about purchasing. Sometimes it really is just keeping them in the community, so that way when they finally do need another pair, or maybe they bought our sneakers and now it's wintertime and they want slippers, they're so connected with us, and they see the legitimacy of the brand, and they come back to us when their actual needs and not just flashy sales.
Exactly. I mean, is that not because you do more uh, salesly emails they're going to buy more. Probably they're going to buy less, right? It's going to be
Yep.
too spammy, and but if you add value, probably you're going to be top of mind for them, as you said. So when they need another pair, they will be there for you. So great. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think will benefit the audience?
Um, no, I think we covered a lot of great topics here.
That's awesome. So, typically to wrap up these interviews, I love to know if there are any books or mentors that help you get you where you're at currently. It could be, I don't know, not only business books or business mentors. It could be a friend. It could be a former boss. It could be a book. It could be a novel, even
Mhm.
that that you recall. So, yeah, whatever you think is relevant.
Yeah. So on the book side, I was a philosophy major in college, which really does kind of skew the types of books I read. Um, but I do occasionally like to sit down and read some business books. And so one that's been really inspiring to me lately that I recently finished is The Ride of a Lifetime by Bob Iger, the former CEO of Disney. So of course, there's so many business lessons to be learned in that. He transformed this, massive empire of a company. But what really stood out to me in that was kind of understanding the value of relationships and timing in business, and honestly, luck and the value of humility, right? Like it's easy to kind of take pride of your wins and also carry some of those losses. But one of the quotes from the book that I always try to remember is it's something like, if not for a lucky break or the right mentor or an instinct to do this instead of that, then I would not be telling this story. So it just speaks to the fragility of success, right? Whether on a large scale like a career or small scale like an ad set that you have, it's sometimes really just about luck and right place, right time. So that's been super inspiring for me. Um, on the mentor side, so I've worked with so many great people in my relatively young career at this point. So I don't want to take your listeners full day and listening through all of those, but I do just want to give a quick shout out to my team at Baabuk. Truly, and they're not paying me to say this, but collectively, they truly are some of the smartest, most genuine people I've ever worked with. There's this spirit of entrepreneurship that flows through the entire group that's really contagious. And all of that while still keeping that core focus of being authentic, which is so difficult to find sometimes in a modern workplace. So I feel very lucky, very privileged to be working with them, and just incredibly thankful for all of the uh, unique aspects of that type of role.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. And where can people go to learn more about you and Baabuk as well?
Yeah, so to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn, or my personal site is alexander-miller.com. And for Baabuk, we're online at baabuk.com, and then at Baabuk and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and wherever else you want to find us. TikTok now.
That's that's great. And if you guys listening to the audio version of this, there will be show notes on fitgrowthmachine.com. You find the episode and you will see the resources mentioned right here. So yeah, Alex, it was a pleasure to have you on. Thanks a lot for your time and being here in the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.